Okay, Artie, whenever you're ready.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? This is Artie Hoffman, and welcome to the Triple B Experience Podcast.
Perfect, perfect. We will see you in a minute, okay? Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Triple B Experience Podcast. And as advertised, we aren't just another podcast, we are an experience. We are the Triple B Trio. I'm Gary, that's Cable, and talking about an experience, we have a living, breathing experience with our very own Bad Bubba Brewer. How's it
With
going,
this
gentlemen?
lovely shirt. It's going great, guys. How you guys doing? How's it
Awesome.
going?
Really
Good,
good.
good. Good. So, Bubba, what do we got going on tonight, man?
Well, this is the most extraordinary individual that we ever interviewed that I believe, well, he already knows he's awesome because he knows everything. He's done so much in this realm, in this world. And I don't even know if my introduction could do it, Mav, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Okay. All right.
Because
Well,
he
I think what Bubba's trying to say is that's right, folks. You heard it here first. We have master level psychic, medium, and spiritual advisor Artie Hoffman on the show with us today. So why don't we just bring him in and get this interview started? Okay.
He already knows.
There he is,
guys,
Artie.
how's it going?
Good. How you
man.
doing, Artie?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
being here.
joining us. But so let's just start, Artie. How did this happen? How like
Damn,
I guess
I know.
my first question is are people born with this, or is this something you established, or like how did this all happen? This is very intriguing.
Well, to answer your first question, are people born with this? Yes. Was I born with it? No.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was like 27 years old. I'm very frustrated in my life. I had everything going right in my life. As far as my business, I have another business going. I'm married, wonderful friends. Financially, everything was going great. But yet I still felt like I was unfulfilled. And so I had a little conversation with God. I said, God, I need clear answers. I said, something's missing here. And so, after that conversation, I walk into my kitchen, and I'm going through all the junk mail. And I usually throw out my junk mail right away. I usually don't have patience for it, but for some reason that day I did. And it was life altering. And I came across this postcard, and it said, how would you like to develop your psychic ability and intuitiveness? Come to the Edgar Casey Foundation in Virginia Beach for this one weekend seminar. And I looked at it and I said, damn, I didn't know you could learn how to do this. So I wasn't looking at it like it was the answer to my prayers. I just looked at it as I was amazed that people could learn how to do this. So I asked my wife, who was my wife at the time, I says, you want to try this? I said, it looks pretty interesting. She says, nah, I don't give a crap about that. She goes, you can go if you want. I'm not interested. So I went away for that one weekend, and there was about 50 of us from all different parts of the country in this one large room. And it was pretty cool, meeting all nice people from all around the place. And they put you in that Zen mode. The speakers that were there, who was a part of the Edgar Casey, family and foundation. There were speakers there, and with the beautiful music going on and the Zen, and got everybody in that beautiful spiritual zone. And they talked about spirituality and how to open up your heart and mind to be 100% unconditional. And so, they broke us up into groups, and they said, whoever you're with, just share your thoughts with them. Don't judge it. Just express your feelings. And so I did. And I was telling people what I felt, what I thought. And so I told them what I thought about them. And they said, screw you. I said, screw you. and a roll came out,
That's how it happened? I mean, it was that organic?
And I knew that was going to happen. So, no. So anyway, so people were telling me how accurate I was, as people were doing the same to me. And I said, cut the crap. No. And so, so after learning how to do this, and I was just absolutely amazed that this even existed, that I'm able to read into people's thoughts or minds or lives. I said, holy crap. And so I went home after that seminar, and I got myself a deck of spiritual cards, angel cards, and I started reading for friends and family for the next few years. And, and people were telling me how accurate I was. And so what happened was I came to a place in my life where I needed some quick extra cash. Fast money. And I didn't know how to do it. And I'm thinking, and I make pretty decent money in my other job, but I needed more for investment reasons. And so I'm sitting on the couch. I said, what can I do? And I said, you know what? I know how to do readings. So I said, I'm going to throw an ad in the paper. And it said, if I don't pull through, no charge. So 90% of the people actually paid me. And the other 10% I had to kill. So now I talk to them on the other side. And I said, why didn't you pay me? We didn't have to go through all this crap.
Oh, that's amazing. Artie, you make it
literally through word of mouth and from a little more advertising, it just took off like a bat out of hell. And here I am 33 years later. I've read for over 33,000 people, literally. And it's been an amazing experience. I've been all over the place. And, I always wanted to become a therapist going throughout, junior high and high school. But I sucked at school. I didn't have the patience for the books. And, after a few messages in my head, I started to get headaches. It's like I can't tolerate it, And so I had I was slow at learning. But thanks to the
Barty, I don't think we can hear you.
Insight. I was given this insight in this with the spiritual world. And so people call me their psychic therapist. And, so now I have therapists who come to see me for answers. And it's
so they sit on your couch, Artie? People sit on your couch.
Exactly. They sit on my couch. And I say, so Mr. Woody Allen, what can I help you with? And he goes, oh, you're not going to believe the kind of day that I had. It was very trying, I'll tell you.
You made that sound way too easy. Like, I can't imagine what you had to go through with that training. Like, you made that sound way too easy.
No, but believe it or not, it was that easy. It was like, if you want something bad enough, it will just flow to you. If you put too much stress on yourself, too much pressure on yourself, no matter what job you do, you're going to make the job harder. So I just had a natural ability to let things go. So like I said, people call me their psychic therapist. And I'm just as good as any therapist out there, whether it be personal counts, because I do life coaching too, besides a psychic and a medium. So, so and I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, well, except my two brothers, but I'm not really better than anybody, and I'm the youngest one. So, but, in my books, I wrote 2 books. One is called Angels and Answers. And the other book is called Have Your Angels Call My Angels.
How does that work? How does an angel call another angel?
Oh, it's like, I'll have my angel call your angel because I see you're having deep stuff going on. So we all have guardian angels.
Oh, you mean you already know that about me?
I already know that about you. You can't get away.
Oh my God.
Very hard going out with a psychic. I just want you to know.
So speaking of that, Artie, there's something that you said that just caught my attention during your introduction there. The beginning of that story was you were previously married.
Yeah.
So this was before that you started your psychic training. So how did that, after you went through the training, how did that impact your marriage? Like, did you know that was coming? Like,
it impacted all my marriages.
So I mean, just on a personal level, I mean, like just being friends with people, or having a girlfriend or a relationship, just in general, like that really has to weigh on you because you know this stuff about them, right? Like,
well, the thing is like what my biggest issue was, as my spirituality would start to grow and grow and grow, and 98% of my clients are women. It all has to do with trust, and I'm very sincere about that. All kidding aside, and so that's a major problem in my life, about having a girl in my life who's very comfortable within herself, where she could also trust me. And I'm a one man. I'm like a relationship kind of guy. Yes, they could say the variety is the spice of life. I actually prefer to be in one relationship where, just rather than being from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And the reason being is because, you know, each time I would date a girl, they all had their own expectations. And so when you're setting up for expectations, it's like, you know, you try to be as honest with them as possible as far as where you are emotionally. And people say they want to know the truth. They really don't want to know the truth. They want the truth to be what they want it to be, but they really don't want to accept the truth for what it is, how you feel about them. Now, if you're that deep solid into someone, and not just for myself, but for anyone else, if you're that deep solid into anybody, then when your heart's fulfilled with one person, you don't have to worry about any other girl or any other guy, depending on what position you're at. You know, you should have that comfort zone within you and within the relationship. And if you don't, then you do need some serious counseling. But it was very difficult because as my spirituality started to grow, I mean, yes, they liked the financial comfortability that I would give them, that I would assist them or support them, but they didn't like the fact that I was getting so much attention from so many different females because, like I said, 98% of my clients are females.
So they got jealous, Artie. They got jealous.
Yeah, it's a jealousy, but and it becomes trust issue. I go, what the hell is your problem? I mean, seriously, you know. So, like I said, you know, a lot of people say they want to know the truth, but I mean, when I'm in session with people, yeah, I speak the raw truth because I'm not in a relationship with them. I'm being honest because it's all about them. So I'm going to be very honest with them, and I'm very tactful when it comes to expressing feelings or the truth or visions. And that's very important in any relationship. You know, when you're in a relationship, yeah, you want to be honest, but it's not always what you say, but it's how you say it or how you come across. And so people could easily take you the wrong way. And so that's why a lot of texting gets misconstrued or emails gets misconstrued because you say what you want to say. But if you don't put the feelings and the emotions behind the words of what you're trying to express, it can easily be taken in a different way. So if you're sending your partner, say, 2 or 3 XOs and they only send you 1 X, it's like, well, what's the matter with you? How come I'm not getting that loving feeling back from you? You don't know if they're in the middle of an argument or they're in the middle of business, but they acknowledge you and they send you a quick X or an XO, whatever, you know? So you don't know what position they're in, but a lot of people mistake messages very easily if the emotions are not expressed behind your words. So if you said with 1 X, hey, babe, I love you, and you sent an X, it's like, it's different than just X. It's like, what the hell was that? You know?
Right.
So, again, it's not just with that, but with everything and anything. It could be with business. It could be just friendships or whatever. So it's like when you understand what the other person's personality is like or what their expectations are, it's important to try to get your thoughts across in a way that they can understand what you're trying to say, because you have to imagine them reading what you're sending and not just the feelings of how you feel. So if you want them to understand you, then write it in a way where they could understand or appreciate where you're coming from or your feelings or how you meant for it to be. Otherwise, they're going to misconstrue everything and they say, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant.
That's happened to me all the time, Artie. That's why I like to talk on the phone.
There's a reason why. See, I never know what topic I'm going to talk about until the show starts. So I know there's a reason why I needed to talk like that. It's and the success to a healthy relationship, other than having great chemistry, is communication. Because if one of you are a good communicator and the other one sucks at communicating or doesn't say hardly spit, then the relationship isn't going to last too long. Because the person who's talking wants reciprocation as far as whether it be intimacy or whether it be in words or whatever. Say something, do something. But when the other person's a dead doornail.
Well, it's got to be tough for you because you lose a chess piece when you're in an argument because you can't say, hey, I'm no mind reader.
You're right. I said that. That's very funny. That's true. Hey, listen, it's not like I'm psychic, but.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. So it's more along the lines of like relationships with you. It's more of a jealousy thing on their end, more so than you could read their thoughts and you kind of know, right off the bat. Like, can you, like when you meet somebody for the first time, right? Can you tell that if it's going to be a long thing or a short thing or,
or you don't read them at all because you want to be something serious.
When I'm with somebody, I have a good sense of character. But at the same token, like within the first 30 seconds to a minute, I pretty much so get the feel of them, sometimes sooner than that. But when it comes to my personal relationships, I'm in my own maze. So I could tell everything about everybody for everybody else. And any other given psychic or medium will probably say the same thing, or at least most of them will. But when you're in your own crap, when you're in your own maze, it's hard to see because you're emotionally connected to the outcomes. So, so there are times where I thought, hey, everything's going to be great, where it just turned out to be like not. So I go to other friends who are psychics and mediums and I ask them for their thoughts and opinions, because again, when you're emotionally wrapped up in your own stuff, you don't know if it's coming through emotionally from your ego or is it coming through from the spiritual world.
Yeah, because I'm sure if you connect with somebody and you're enjoying that person's company or being with that person and you start to pick up on signs that things might not work, it's going to be hard to just cut it off. You're still going to try to make it work. And that's when you get into trying to conform to what they want and not being yourself. And it makes it tough, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like when I do readings with other people, from now on, I will never read them first. I will have them read me and then I'll read them, because other readers have gotten intimidated by my readings because, I give a lot of in-depth information and stuff. And so sometimes they might feel like they're being judged or let me try to be as good as you and stuff. And I hate that. I really do, because I just want it to be, I could tell when it's a natural reading or when it's just kind of fudged or it's kind of chopped up. I could tell the difference easily. So a lot of times when I like going to fresh new readers and I won't tell them that I'm a reader, because I don't want them to think I'm judging them.
But can they tell?
I'll tell them after the fact, but not before or during.
But can they pick up on it? Has anybody ever
Some people have, but they didn't say, "Oh, you're a reader," or they'll just say, "Hey, Art, I can tell you're very intuitive." They'll say something like that, and they won't say, "Oh, I see that you're a reader and you're a medium and all that stuff."
Have you ever had anybody already just come up to you and is like, "I know what you do and how you do it," kind of stuff, and I know you can read? Anybody that has the same kind of thing of you and just come up to you and just said it to you?
No one's ever just come right up to me like that publicly or anything, just said that. But I have been in readings, like I said, where they said, "Art, I could tell that, you're very intuitive." And, when I was younger, before I knew I had the gift, when I was in my early 20s and I would go to see a reader, she says, "Artie, you could do what I do." I said, yeah. I don't even give a crap about that. I can't even see tomorrow. Just tell me about my love life and my business world. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. Don't tell me like, "Oh, you could do it." And Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and, Age of Aquarius. I said, I don't give a shit about that. Just tell me what I need to hear, what I want to hear with my personal life,
Yeah.
So,
is that
I'm pretty down to it. The funny thing is, like I said to you, I always wanted to become a therapist going through school. And in my book, and I told you I never went to college, but in my book, it says I went to the University of Boston and Maryland for 2 years, but that was just to visit my friends.
There you go.
Oh, that's good.
That's
the stories go on and on and on and on. I have to tell you this one I have a lot of interesting stories. I'm going to tell you a few of them if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's this one lady I was reading, when I do parties, I call them Artie parties. So when people hire me to go to their homes, I'm out of New Jersey. I travel everywhere though. But when people hire me to go to their homes, I read for their friends and family individually. So this one lady I'm reading for, and they're half-hour readings. This one lady I'm reading for, and I was connecting to her mother. Now, when I do individual readings, if they want me to connect to a loved one, I say, well, give me a picture of that person. It doesn't have to be a recent picture. It could be within your phone. I don't care. So she gave me a picture of her mother. And I'm giving her all this information that I thought was pretty damn good. And so at the end of the reading, she says to me, "Art, I'm having a hard time." Well, let me say that. The bitch said to me, How dare you challenge me? No. She said to me, I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that you're actually talking to my mother. It's like, yeah, some of the stuff you said was kind of general, but it did have to do with my mother. And then you told me other things that were pretty specific, dead on, that had to do with my mother. But I'm actually having a hard time accepting the fact or believing that you're actually talking to my dead mother. I said, I can only share with you the information I get from the spiritual world. I said, let me see your mother's picture one more time. As she was ticking me off. I said, so let me look at your mother's picture one more time. So I'm looking at her mother's picture. And I said, your mom is showing me cows. She goes, what do you want me to do with that? I said, I don't know. Your mom is showing me cows. So in my eyes mind, I saw about 10 cows get up. They were all on all fours and they were all mooing. And so I looked at her and I said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but moo. And so she started to cry. And I said, what's the matter? And she pointed to her mother's picture. She goes, that's her name. I go, what are you talking about? Her name's Muriel, but everyone called her Moo.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So, that's
yeah.
So I said, here's your picture, now get out.
Yeah. So that's a good way to silence the critics. Like, do you get a lot of criticism? Like, do you feel that people don't believe you, or like?
Oh, there are skeptics out there. Yeah, they're the easiest ones to hit. They're the easiest ones to hit because they have no expectations. So this was really cool. This is another cool, funny story. So I'm at a restaurant with my wife when I was married at the time. And we're at a nice steakhouse. We just came from a comedy club across the street. And we're at a nice steakhouse. And there's this long table right next to me. All right. And there's about 8 adults. And there may be about my age, maybe a little younger, And so anyway, they were having a conversation. And one of the girls looked at me and says, well, what do you think about this? And I said, whatever. And she goes, oh, well, what do you do for a living? Because I think they were talking about security. And I said, yeah, I know all about it. She goes, well, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a psychic and a medium. She goes, oh, my God. Of course, the whole table started talking. And so one of the guys at the other end of the table, she goes, that's all bull crap. That John Edward guy or Teresa Caputo, they have people in the audience waiting online, and they have people listening in, and they give them information, blah, 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 blah. And they could easily look up the email address really quick once you have the names, blah, 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 blah. He goes, what do you think about them? I said, well, I think they're pretty talented, but I can't speak on all the crap that goes on behind the scenes. I said, I personally don't know that. And he goes, so the guy at the end says, so you think you can read me? I said,
oh, geez.
Sure. Because now, mind you, this is the guy that says, they check out everyone's email address and, they can look up information that quick with technology. So the guy comes over to me and I said, well, let me have your watch or your keys. So he gives me his watch and I'm holding on to them. And I took off. No, I'm only kidding. They always fall for that. They want to know why I'm rich. I steal a bunch of Rolexes, watches, credit cards. It's awesome. I love my job. So I'm holding on to his watch. And I said to him, you're looking for a very expensive piece of jewelry that you can't find. And I said, and you're going crazy finding it, and you don't know if you misplaced it or if it's lost or stolen. I said, but it's a very expensive piece of jewelry. He goes, just today, I was looking for my mother's engagement ring, and it was all diamonds, and I can't find it. And he goes, I had it on the windowsill of the bathroom. And he goes, and I woke up, he goes, and I realized it was gone. I said, well, did you have workers in your house? He goes, yeah, it's some construction people in my house. I said, yeah, they took it. I said, they're the ones who took it. He goes, oh my God. He goes, how did you even know that? I said, it was easy. I Googled your information while you were standing in front of me. And he goes like this. He says, can you do it again? I said, I don't know. I said, I'll try. So he gives me his watch. And I said, you're going to go through insurance papers. I said, you're debating whether to switch insurance companies. I don't know if this is health or car, but I said, I feel like you're going to be switching insurance companies. He goes, just earlier today, my boss gave me a new insurance plan, and we have a choice whether to stick with the old one or go with the new one. And I said, go with the new one. He goes, how the hell did you know that? I said, I told you, I Googled your information.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So the thing is, literally, I don't know anything. It's the spiritual world that gives me all the information. You saw the movie Ghost?
Yes.
It's been a while, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm Whoopi Goldberg, and there's a Patrick Swayze on the other side, and they feed me all the information, and they make me look good. So there's no psychic or medium that knows anything. It's just that we're very good. The people who are good, they're very good connectors to their spiritual guides or their angels who feed them the information. So you're a good intuitive to be able to connect. And so they feed you all the information. So Whoopi Goldberg knew everything she knew to tell Demi Moore in the movie, even though it's acting, but in reality. But because Patrick Swayze was giving her all the information. So anyway, so Whoopi was able to give Demi Moore all the right answers. So I'm able to get a lot of the right answers. Sometimes the answers are left up into interpretation. It's very hard to read people because of the interpretations. But I have a pretty good language forum with my spirit guides and the angels and your loved ones or whoever who's communicating with me. And they know that a lot of times I hear messages in songs. And I'll give you an example. The very first time I heard a song as a message, I was doing a reading for this one lady, and her name was Vivian. I'll never forget her. And she was about 10 years older than me. So after I gave her reading, she goes, all right, what do you see for my relationship? And in that moment, I heard a song by Stevie Wonder. That's me and you, a part-time lover. And so I said, he's cheating on you. And she goes, I think you're right. I said, no, I know I am, because I haven't heard that song forever, and it just came into my mind. And her husband was screwing around. Now, would I just naturally tell people, oh, your spouse is screwing around on you? If they're not asking me like deep questions like that, if they're not asking me, then I'm not telling, because I'm very inspirational. When I speak to people, I want to give people back their power. I give people back their confidence, and I want them to feel good about it. And it's not always the problem that's the problem. It's your perception on how you choose to look at someone or something. And so when you could accept the person for who they are and not just what you want them to be, or when you could accept the situation for what it is and not just what you want it to be, if you could adjust yourself according to the personality or the situation, well, now I understand you and I know how to react, or I know how to adjust myself, or how to be. Or maybe, you know what? Now that I really understand you behind the scenes, maybe I don't even want to deal with you at all. But if you can't compromise with the person who you're with, if you can't have an intelligent conversation with them, compromise with them where it's a win-win or a little win-lose situation, another win-lose situation. If you can't compromise, then why are you wasting your time? It's about accepting the person for who they are, and they should accept you for who you are. And if you can't accept each other for who you are, then you're literally wasting your time, because a lot of times I want you to be how I want you to be, or how I think you should be. And I'm not accepting you for who you are. And that's a big problem in a lot of relationships.
Now, Artie, this is a crazy question, because you say you talk to the angels and stuff like that. And when you talk and you do with somebody, have you ever been in a situation where the angels are telling you it's time for you to get away from this individual because it's not good?
I
mean, as crazy as it sounds, but
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
In a reading, no. Do I get a bad feeling with certain people? I will, and I do. But I always, even the people who are struggling, there's a reason why they're struggling.
Okay.
So if the person's personality is being very arrogant, all right, I will get the answers why they're arrogant. And then I'll explain to them why the person who upsets you is the way that they are, or why they are the way that they are. See, people who are arrogant, stubborn, asinine, jackass, whatever you want to call them, there's a reason why they are like that. And a lot of it has to do either with previous relationships or their upbringing, having bad experiences with their parents. So they didn't have a good school ground in relationships or family, a good breeding ground. And so therefore their minds are very screwed up. And so I try to have compassion for them to give them answers. But sometimes when I give them the raw answers, it doesn't mean, and even when you talk with somebody, if somebody is not prepared to hear a mature answer from you, it's not that you're wrong or you did something wrong. It's that they're not mature enough to deal with the reality of what you're dealing with, or they're not mature enough to understand what you're saying when you're trying to be as open as honest or to be as black and white as possible.
Well, that's my job. You got my job right to a T.
There you go.
So it's the you can't handle the truth situation.
Yeah.
But Artie, and I apologize for this. It might be a stupid question, but you said you're
a stupid question.
Well, I'm glad you hear you say that, because this might be your first. No, but when you're talking about you're talking to the spirits and stuff, is it always the same ones, or like same few? Like, I'm sorry, I just don't like what. How does that work?
God, that's stupid. I'm only kidding.
See, I told you.
I'm just joking. I'm just playing. It's not a stupid question. No, it's when it comes to my angels, I have a communication with my angels. But when I'm speaking to other people, your guardian angels, because we all have guardian angels. We all have at least 2 guardian angels around us 24/7.
I was going to ask that question to you, so you already answered it for me.
Yeah, I know. So I just know. You cocky son of a bitch. Artie, it was nice having you. Thank you very much.
It's before you answer that, Artie, what's funny? I apologize that I missed you being an author in your introduction, but I'm really apologizing that I missed you being a comedian as well. So
yeah, well, I do a Facebook live show every Sunday night. It's called Angels and Answers, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I do free readings for people over my Facebook live show. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Angels and Answers. It's called Artie Hoffman's Angels and Answers. And when I advertise myself psychic/comedian, because I like to have fun with what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm talking to people's loved ones who passed away, a lot of times they have tremendous sense of humor over on the other side. They really do. They're not like morbid, just sitting there and stuff. But yet when somebody is being very sentimental and their heart is really hurting, I'm not going to go cracking jokes when somebody wants to connect to their child or to their loved one that they've been with for 20, 30, 50 years. I'm very compassionate. But given the circumstance and given the person's personality tells me, can I joke around with this person, or is it going to be more serious? So it's pretty funny. So I've had some pretty funny jokes from the other side when I was connecting to them. And so the one lady, she's really cool. And she was very accepting of the fact that her husband passed away. It is what it is. She wanted to know who her next guy is. And she really loved her husband. But, she accepted it. It was just her mindset.
Can't do anything about it.
He had a great sense of humor also. And so he goes like this to me. He goes, honey, it's killing me not to be with you. And I thought that was funny. And it wasn't a joke that I just created. It's like he fed this into me. I go, wow, he was funny. And she goes, yeah, he really was.
My goodness.
So there's another time where I was reading for this very attractive lady. She was like in her late 50s, early 60s, but oh man, attractive. And she said to me, she goes, I'm looking for my next love. She goes, I need to be in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship. She goes, come on, look at me. She goes, I want to have a sex life. She goes, I don't care who it is. I just want to be with somebody. She goes, I'll accept anybody from the ages of 45 all the way up to death. And I thought that was pretty.
Artie, you should have said, well, me, I'm right here.
Yeah, here I am. Your search is over. I was right before your eyes.
So now you communicate with angels, like you said. Is there a difference between angels and spirits? Is spirits something at all, or?
Yeah, there's spirits, which is like people like us, the spirits on the other side. Then there's angels. There's your guardian angels. There's angels. Then there are spirit guides. And then you have your saints. And then you have the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of spirits and spirituality over on the other side.
So we have two. You said we had 2 guardian angels.
Guardian angels.
So how many spirits do we have with us? How many spirits do we have? Yeah. I'm just asking if that was, the spirits that we have. How many
You're
spirits do we
talking
have?
about
Plus,
your loved ones.
well, I always thought, Artie, that my guardian angels would be my loved ones that passed. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe or buddies of mine that passed away or something like that.
Yeah, no. Well, they will watch out for you. They'll also bust your chops too.
Yeah.
They will also take your stuff, put it someplace else, and say, "I know I put it here, and now it's over there," and they're laughing their asses off.
Well, this is so crazy. And just before we did this podcast, Artie, my TV, my cable box, I turn it off and it comes on. I turn it off, it comes on. It's been doing that like more than I care to admit, and I'm going a little crazy. And because I know I shut it off and I walk away, and it's turned on. I think somebody's messing with me for real. I swear to God.
Well, to be honest, it would be user error on your part. That we deal with a lot of technical issues with Bubba.
No
podcast. So
I shut it off.
Saying,
I'm just asking because to me that is something very, very strange, especially when I just shut it off and I walk away and I come back to the living room and it's turned on again. I think somebody.
That's definitely a spirit. Who is John or Jack?
You talking to Bubba?
I think so. Yeah, because there's three of you, so it can't cross over. But first name, middle name, Johnny, Jack, Jenny, names sounding like that.
No, nothing that I can.
No.
Okay,
Maybe that's a prior.
With it, and I'm seeing something about a star. You know what? You're having a brain freeze right now, and it happens, and people go, "What the hell?" It's like, I mean, I mentioned a name to somebody in a reading, and they couldn't relate to it. To find out towards the end of the reading, the name that I originally mentioned was their brother who passed away, and it's like went right by them.
Well, to be honest, John Jack, that my wife's grandfather that passed away, his name was named that. They called him Jack, but I never understood that. It's not an abbreviation, but his name's
so that's
John, but they called him Jack. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking up on. And was he like an outdoorsman, or did he like cut firewood or something? Do you know if he was like a lumberjack, or he just like the outdoor, or like the fireplace? And
I feel like he was semi-handy. I think he worked for PPG and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know about an outdoorsman,
Okay, because I'm seeing like being outdoorsman, and it could be a telephone pole or climbing up telephone poles or with trees or cutting up lumber. But that's kind of what I'm picking up with him right now.
Wow.
But you want to know something? Even when you go through really challenging relationships, even with arrogant people, there's a lot to be learned. There's a reason why they're in your life. And I've always said with my parents, my father taught me what love is not, and my mother taught me what love is. And so when somebody is being very arrogant with you, or not nice with you, or not loving to you, or whatever, rather than mimic them, whether it be from your parents or a lover, rather than mimic them, well, they did this to me, so therefore I'm going to do it to someone else. Like the pain that my father caused emotionally, it wasn't all bad. My father had love in his heart too, in his own way. But the amount of emotional pain that my father caused us in our family, that I so did not want to be like that. And I wrote him a thank you letter for being my dad. I said, thanks to you, I know what not to do. And then my mom was filled with unconditional love, and she taught me exactly how I wish to be with other people. And they both had a very good sense of humor, so I always wanted to make people laugh. And my Uncle Louie, who was one of the funniest people I've ever met, I always wanted to grow up to be like him. And my relatives tell me, you grew up to be just like Uncle Louie, just like Uncle Liza. That was his Yiddish name, Liza.
Wow. Huh.
So as far as having spirits around you, we all have spirits around us. So if you want your lives literally to get easier every single day, and I really mean this, there's a prayer that I say. It's a very simple prayer, and you can put it in your own words. But this is a simple prayer that I say every day. I call upon all my loving guardian angels. Thank you for intervening into my life today, creating peace, harmony, balance, and serenity. Thank you for all the beautiful blessings and miracles you wish to share with me today, and all your beautiful white light of love of protection over myself, my friends, and my family. In the name of the Holy Spirit, amen. And that's it. So when shit hits the fan with someone that I'm dealing with, it's like I remain calm and I just let it go. And time has a way of curing things where people will rethink whatever it is that they're doing. Through for you that you want to help you out in somehow, some way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's about letting go and not always reacting in the moment, because when you're in arguments, the calmer you are, the more control you have. The more you lose your crap, the more you yell and scream, the less control you have. You have no control when you're yelling and screaming. But when you're calm, you have a very good peripheral vision where the other person is coming from. And you can speak more intelligently or know what to say or how to say it or not what not to say. But always let the other person speak first. So therefore, you don't always have to show your cards to them to let them know what you're thinking, because they'll use that against you.
Right.
Or you want to be able to understand their logic and reason where they're coming from. So then you could speak like, oh, that's what they're thinking. This is what they're upset about. And now you could speak. But if you're talking while they're talking, you don't care what they're saying. You want to get your point across, and they don't care what you're saying because they want to get their point across, and no one's getting anything accomplished.
I've heard this. I've heard this numerous times because the person I live with tells me that all the time.
Hey, Artie, two questions here. One,
I'm sure there'll be more than that, but go ahead.
They're oh, you're the best. Anyway, so what's the reasoning for having two guardian angels, right? And then my other question is not related so much. You mentioned John and Jack, which to me, that's my wife's grandfather that passed away. Probably like 2 days after my birthday, same year that my son was born.
Was he in the military? Was he in like
yes,
really good shape?
Yes. He was in the military.
He just said to you, he told me to tell you, he says, now drop down and give me 50, boy.
But Artie, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? It just dawned on me now. You mentioned him and you said about him, either cutting trees or being a lumberjack. I was just at his house cutting down and trimming trees at his, because grandma's still alive.
So that's why he's acknowledging the fact that you did. Oh, and he just said, thank you very much. And he's literally blowing you kisses, and he's very proud. He's patting his heart. So
you mentioned this.
Wow.
Was he trying to reach us in any way, or like
trying? Of
all the people that I would have thought would have reached out to me, I didn't think he would have been the one. But that's amazing.
Yeah, I have no control over that. It's who pulls through.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But but the guardian angels, you said there was two. Why two? Do you know?
You have to ask God on that one. I guess maybe some of us are so much trouble that the other one says, you know what, you take over. I need a cigarette break.
Maybe it's like the sheepdogs on the old Looney Tunes. One punches in and one punches out.
That's right.
I'm sure I got two and more.
I guess certain angels have other strengths that the other angels don't have. Whether it be one is more for manifesting physical things to happen in your life, whereas others are more on an emotional level, whereas others could probably help you more on a physical level. And now what I just told you is the very first time I ever was asked that question. It's the very first answers that I ever came across to answer that question. So I'm getting the answer right now as we speak. And I feel like I apologize because my memory really does suck, and I mean this. The one below Bubba, your name?
Caleb.
Kayla. So Kayla, you have 3 guardian angels around you right now. So that means you're going through a big transition in your life right now, and it's like, I feel like you feel very discombobulated or very frustrated, and so I feel like there's a third one that's trying to help you to get feeling unstuck to get you to where you need to be. And so therefore you have 3 of them around you, because it's like, I feel like you're going through a transition in your life, or you're about to.
Well, that's
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, because my mom's been in the hospital for a few months now.
Yeah. And so they're like kind of giving you like a lot of emotional support and stuff. So yeah, you know, I feel like different angels have different gifts as far as what they're qualified for. And it was really funny. Here I am. I'm doing an Artie party, okay? And so I took a 10-minute break. So I'm hanging out in the kitchen, having a little food, but I'm just standing up against the wall, watching everybody talk and stuff like that. And in the moment, I never heard this joke before at all in my entire life. And in that moment, a whole joke was given to me. And so there was 2 angels. It was right around Christmas time, right before Christmas time. And 2 angels were 2 guardian angels were sent down to earth from heaven to fulfill a lot of tasks that God wanted to give to all these people right before Christmas. So anyway, as the angels are getting closer to earth, one angel is looking at this long list, this long Christmas list of all these people, of all these things that they have to perform before Christmas time. And so the angel goes to his partner. He goes, how the hell are we going to perform all these miracles for all these people in such a short period of time? So the other angel looks at the list and he looks at him and he goes, well, just wing it. So,
That's good.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
so it was, like I said, it was just a cute little silly joke that
Yeah.
was given to me.
No, that's
just
awesome.
in the moment. And
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Because
So-
this stuff could get really heavy. So you almost need that.
You have to have humor,
Levity.
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't sure if that was a part of what you normally do, or if you just know we're a bunch of jokesters, one or the other. No, but in my opinion, yeah, some of the stuff could get really, really heavy, really emotional for people.
Oh, no, absolutely. And, but I make people feel calm right away when they're with me. I don't know. I have this energy about me, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, because I hear it all the time, almost every day. They say, Artie, you have this calming energy about you. And it's like, I want people to always feel comfortable with me. I don't want anyone to fear me or to get nervous around me, because I want everyone to know that I really do care about them and I really do love them. And so it's funny. So when I told this one girl, I said, I really do love you. I said, you're such an awesome person. She goes, well, how do you know you love me? You just met me. I said, well, I don't know if I like you, but I love you because I love people.
Right.
I said, it's like ice cream. I love ice cream, but I don't like all flavors.
Yeah.
I love too much ice
Hilarious.
cream.
So
Yeah, there you go.
with all your
Put a little fudge
experiences,
on you and I'll love you even more.
with everything you've been through, your experiences and everything, has there ever been a reading or a situation that you just did not enjoy, and it was like, boy, I don't know if I want to go through that again?
Well, I wouldn't want to go through that again with that person, because some people's energy are just so negative, or they just block me. I mean, literally, that's maybe 1%. That's it.
Mhm.
Who's that extreme negative and stuff. I've gone into a few homes and the houses were just perfectly nice and the people were nice. But the moment I walked in that home, I couldn't wait to get out, because the energy just sucked me dry. I just hated the energy in there. And it had nothing to do with the problem of the people acting rude to me or not nice to me.
Mhm.
It just like, I just did not like the energy at all. But you know what? They waited a long time to see me. They're all excited to see me. So I did the best I can with what I got. And on the most part, people were pretty happy with what I had to do for them. And yeah, so the angels always pull through. I never prep what I'm going to say before I do a party, before I do an event, before I do a show like you guys. Um, Everything is off the cuff. It's just always spontaneous. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's all about blind faith. That when I walk into a situation, I just believe that the angels or God is going to communicate to me in my thoughts and come up with the correct answers. So there are people who have come up to me and said, "Oh, what you do is evil, or that's negative, or that's the devil's work." And they say, oh, it's against my religion, or it's against God. And I say, well, it might be against your religion, but it's not against God. I said, because God's the one who gave me this gift. And I go, and it all depends what your intentions are behind your actions. I said, so being that I've helped heal thousands of people emotionally and or physically, I said, if you're saying what I do is the devil's work, then I need to shake his hands and thank him, because he's helped me save and help a lot of people emotionally. So, and I do everything with the best of intentions. Now, are there people who do what I do to manipulate people, financial reasons, and to screw over people? Absolutely, just like in every profession. You know,
Yeah.
lawyers, mechanics,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
workmen. I mean, everybody. You know, you have your honest, great people, your mechanics. You have your honest, great people, and you have people who suck. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but it's all what your intentions are behind your actions, what makes something right or wrong. So if somebody is mimicking what you're doing with your actions, but their intentions are different, then it's wrong. It's wrong. But
Okay.
if your intentions are with a pure heart, with the best of intentions and the best outcomes, that's what you're intending for, then it is the right thing, you know, what you're doing, if you believe that
Yeah.
in your heart and soul.
Hey,
Well, so on the flip side of what I asked you, I'm sure there's been a lot of them, but has there been an experience that was where you felt overwhelmingly happy with what happened? Like one that sticks out more than others?
Yeah, I do. It happened thousands of times, literally
Right.
thousands and thousands of times. But one of them, I do have a favorite, and you'll understand why after you hear the story. So there was a gentleman who calls me up on a Friday night, and he goes, Art, he goes, I'm really hurting. I'm really depressed. He goes, I'm so lost and confused. He goes, I need to see you like right away. Can I see you really soon? I said, sure. Come to my place tomorrow, and I'll take care of you. So he walked into my place, and yeah, he had a very sad look on his face. His energy was low. And I said, you know, sit right here. And we sat in the kitchen, and I was explaining to him the meaning of life, the purpose of life, the meaning of life, the value of life. And I was explaining to him the meaning, the purpose, and the value of his life. Now, I didn't go into so much as psychic stuff, but psychically, intuitively, I gave him all the answers he needed to hear on a very deep level. It wasn't like, oh, I see you're getting a red car, and I see you're going to be doing this. And you're going to be. I didn't tell him that. He needed to hear the meaning and the purpose and the value of his life, and the meaning and the purpose of life itself. And he got it. He got it. And after it was over, he gave me a big hug, and he goes, Art, you're a lifesaver. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, you're a lifesaver. You know, some of it mean it as a figure of speech, or, hey, you're great. You're a lifesaver. I love you. But he really meant, he says, Art, you really saved my life. And I smiled, and I said, good. I'm glad I could help. He goes, you don't understand. He goes, I wrote a suicide note, and I was going to kill myself tomorrow morning. And now because of you, I don't want to do it.
Wow.
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 That's
That has
huge.
to make you
That's
feel.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being happy. Yeah. So that was like really, really cool.
Oh, I'm
Wow.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it just made me feel good, you know, and I'm sure maybe I've helped out a lot of other people that I didn't even realize how far the depth goes. Because when you help somebody and you help change their life, then everybody who they touch, because of what you did for them, everybody who they touch, they're going to have a better experience with other people, as other people now feel great about the other people that you've helped. And
Wow.
it goes
Yeah.
on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying it forward in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is. It's very much so paying it forward. I had this one girl come in to my place, and she attacked me. No, I'm really kidding.
Jeez.
It's on videos. You should see it now. So she comes into my place, tattoos from neck all the way down to her, through her body, down to her toes. And so she said to me, she says, Art, she goes, I've been thinking about you every single day for 2 years. And I said, so I'm flattered, not attracted, but I'm flattered. And I said, thanks. No, I appreciate it. She goes, I said, so why were you thinking about me every day for 2 years? She goes, you did a reading for me here 2 years ago. And I don't remember people who I read for. It's a rarity because my memory sucks, you know? I mean, unless if you look like Elizabeth Hurley or somebody. I might remember those jugglies, you know? No, but I don't remember literally like 98% of the people I read, no exaggeration. So she said, you did a reading for me here 2 years ago and you held my hand. And as soon as you held my hand, you started singing the song, Highway to Hell. I'm going to Highway to Hell by AC/DC. And you said to me, and you looked me in the eyes after you sang that song to me. And you said, if I don't stop doing what I'm doing right now, I'm going to get caught and I'm going to get thrown in jail. And you told me, stop doing what I'm doing. And she goes, and a week later, I was doing something that I should not have been doing. And I didn't listen to you. And I got caught and I got thrown in jail for 2 years. And every day I woke up saying to myself, why didn't I listen to Artie? Why didn't I listen to Artie?
Wow.
So Artie, you said, not this past story, but the story before that, you had mentioned that you gave him the meaning of his life. That's incredible. You can sense that in somebody what their meaning
I
is?
sense it, but the answers are, don't forget what I told you. The answers are given to me. And so
Did you know he had that suicide? Did you know he had that suicide note?
No.
So that,
No.
They didn't tell you? That didn't come from?
I just knew he was a hurting, depressed puppy. And that's all I had to know. I just had to know what I had to say. I don't always understand why I say what I say to people, but you'll understand it more than I do. Like I mentioned John and Jack, and I saw the Lumberjack. I don't know why I was seeing that, but you put 2 and 2 together. And that's exactly what it meant. And that was a visit from her grandfather and expressing how much he really appreciated you. And are you the one that got a tattoo on behalf of one of your friends?
I did not. I don't like needles, so no.
Okay. For some reason, I'm seeing you're going to be seeing a tattoo with a heart with wings on it. And somebody is giving a message. And I feel like it has to do in connection with a name by the name of Steve. Stefan or Steve or Stephanie.
You're talking to me directly or any of us?
I don't. There's 3 of you. So I think I'm talking to you. But if anybody else can relate to that, but there is a Steve, Stefan, or Stephanie, or something like that, and I'm seeing a heart with wings on it, and there's a tattoo, or it's a jacket, or somebody has their jacket with a heart or wings on it, but I'm getting something connected like that, and you'll understand it. But that's a message from them to let you know that was really cool. Thank you very much, and I promise you're going to understand it. And it might even be an engraving within a tombstone or something. A heart with wings on it. You'll see.
Be on the lookout for that.
Email me.
Yeah, because I'm not into like Gary. I'm not into needles either. I don't have any tattoos.
Well, I have one big one I regret, but it doesn't have a heart or wings on it.
Yeah, there you go. What's it say? Kiss my ass?
Well, it's a name about the whole way from my armpit down to my waistband. That was a mistake.
There you go. You could always do a cover up.
So Artie, you can also you can sense people when they have negativity, and you already know going in, say, to a building or going into a room, and you see a couple people, and you already know right there and then that the negativity in the room is weighing you down, and you can already sense that like that, right?
Yeah, the moment, see, when I sit with somebody, I just hold their hand. And as soon as I hold their hand, I get energy and thoughts and feelings right away the moment I hold their hand. And it's just like to plug into their energy.
Okay.
So, it was
well,
really
you do
funny.
a lot.
You're going to laugh at this one. So, mind you, remember I said to you, the personality has to allow me to be joking with them or flirting with them for me to be that way. Or if they're very serious, I know, to be more on the serious side or whatnot. I mean, I'll still throw a little shtick in there every now and again. So this one lady, she sits down. Now, this was before I used to hold hands. Back when I started, I always would ask, let me hold your keys or your wallet or your your keys or your jewelry or something so I could pick off on your energy and I'll tell you things. So there was this one girl, very pretty girl, very vivacious personality. She was joking with me right from the get-go. And she goes, all right, Artie. She goes, how do we start this? So I said, all right. I said, well, give me your keys or your jewelry or a piece of your jewelry. She goes, well, I'm not wearing any jewelry and I didn't drive here. I don't have my keys. She goes, so what's next? I said, all right, well, take off your shirt and I'll read Braille.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You're like
my
the
goodness.
whisperer. You could be like the
Yeah.
I'll be
So-
like Flip Wilson. I don't know if you guys know Flip Wilson,
Oh, the comedian.
the comedian. Yeah, he had his own show.
Oh,
He
okay.
used to say, the devil made me do it.
Yeah, I'm older than these guys, so I'm in my 50s. So I get where you're. I know the comedy that you're presenting. These guys are a little younger than
Oh
me.
yeah,
So.
if you were to Google Flip Wilson and saw some of his skits and his shows, he was a black dude who was so funny. He was like a Richard Pryor, different style of Richard Pryor, but he was funny as hell. He
Yeah.
was great.
That's amazing.
So
Artie, just to circle back around with you real quick on something that you said. You said Steve. Now, I had a good friend of mine I was close with. Actually, he had Down syndrome. His name was Steve, and I was very close with him, and that passed away. But I just can't
And he
make the
did
connection
pass
with.
away.
Yes, sir.
All right, well,
Yeah.
he's acknowledging a heart with wings, and if you spoke with his family, they would tell you that what I just said to you would make sense.
Okay.
So that was your
Because-
friend Steve who's pulling through.
That I didn't connect with the heart with the wings, and I did kind of lose touch with their family, though I was very close with for a while. I just get older, and I just haven't made that connection. So yeah, that's interesting.
wow.
And then my next question, Artie, is do we live one life?
No,
No.
many lives, many lives. Yeah, it's and we don't always come to this planet. We might go to a different dimension. Now you have to understand your body is not who you are. Your soul and spirit. Like right now, I'm communicating to all of you and to everyone who's listening. I'm communicating to your soul and spirit. My spirit and soul is connected to your spirit and soul. Your body's not who you are. Your soul is expressing itself using the body that you're in right now. So when somebody dies, it's not that they die. The soul in the person, you never die. I will never die. Your parents will never die. Your great-grandparents never die. What dies is the body. And once the body dies, your soul and spirit lifts right up out of the body and goes into a different dimension of heaven. And so that's why I'm able to know what's going on, because your grandfather and your friend mentioned what was going on, and I would not know that if they weren't alive. They're the ones who gave me that information.
Okay, I see.
And your grandfather or your wife's grandfather said that is correct, and he said it just like that. That is correct.
That
Wow.
does sound like something he would say.
Wow.
But
Now, Artie, when you go to you do all these interviews and all these shows that you do, you already know going in how it's going to be, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I know the feeling and the just like, yeah. Well, I've done enough. I've done plenty of them. So it's
Right.
like, like when we first spoke, I know, I excuse me if I sounded a little dry or arrogant, or let's get to the point. When's the show? When we're doing this, boom. And it's like, don't worry about it. I don't have to know all the details. Once we get there, everything's just going to flow. It's going to be a great show. I promise you. And that's what I said to you. Don't worry. It's going to be a great show. I promise.
Right.
And
That's awesome.
guess what? I thought it turned out pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah. I'd like.
I'm going to share with you something funny. Now, there's this fella called, he's an Italian comedian. He looks Irish, but he's all Italian. And a lot of his jokes is as if he's in the mob. He's really not, of course. But he always talks and acts like his thing is like he's in the mafia or something. And he's very funny. And he's all his jokes are surrounding around the Italians and stuff. And his name's Mike Marino. And his favorite joke, my favorite joke that I told, because I'm good friends with him, my favorite joke of his, like, the movie The Sixth Sense?
Mhm.
The little boy that goes, I see dead people.
Yeah.
He goes, if that kid was ever an Italian family, his father would say, hey, kid, you saw nothing. You saw nobody. You get out of here.
Artie, that's a good question, though. Do you see spirits at all?
Oh, yeah. I don't see spirits like, actually, I saw 2 angels in my life, a physical like you and I in my lifetime, which was a wild experience. And one of them was a black man, a very handsome black man dressed very well up. I went into New York City this one time many years ago, and I was in the mood to be very generous. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm telling you the story about the angel. So I was handing out food and water and $5 and $10 bills to the homeless in Central Park and all around New York City. So I'm getting close to Penn Station. I'm walking, and I'm almost there. And I'm almost at the train station. I saw this one last fella, and I was tired. My back was hurting from walking all day, and I only had, I think, only some bottles of water left and whatever. So anyway, so this kid is sitting down on the stoop with a little cardboard. You know, I'm homeless. I have AIDS. Can you help me out? And he's got a dog there. So I gave him like a bottled water, maybe 2 bottles of water and like a $10 bill. And so anyway, right after I walked away from him, I'm literally had a conversation with God. And I said, God, am I really making a difference, or am I just like throwing money away and just being a nice guy but not really making a difference? And no more than 30 seconds later, a very handsome black man walks up to me, very well dressed. He goes, sir, he goes, I want to tell you something. He goes, I saw what you just did for that homeless guy. He goes, I just want you to know that you really do make a big difference.
Wow.
And so I said, thank you. That was very nice of you. So anyway, so I started to walk away, and the guy took off in a direction, and I turned around, and he was gone. He was gone, vanished. There was no way from where I was to the distance, from the amount of time that I turned around, he could have gone anywhere. He just was gone.
Wow.
So that's one of my favorite stories.
That's a good story.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. So why can't we necessarily see them?
Because you suck. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, I know.
With you, Artie.
Wow, you read me pretty good, Artie. Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thanks.
I must be reading the people who you owe money to. No, I'm only kidding.
That would be Bubba for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's just a matter of opening up. You could do it. You could do it. You could do it. I know you could do it.
I don't know if I want to see them, but you know.
No, it's a dedication into meditation, and that's a pretty good phrase. It's a dedication into meditation. If you want to,
That's a
be
book
able
right
to
there.
communicate or to see spirit or to communicate with spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
That's really cool. A dedication.
That's a book.
Meditation.
You just did a book title when you just said that.
You heard it here first on the Triple B
There's your
Experience.
next book, Artie.
That's how we do
this
it.
is good stuff. I got to write it down.
Right. Right. So Artie, go ahead.
No, I just want to say.
What the hell did I say before I forgot? I was in
Yeah. I'll have to type it down.
Artie, I wish I could remember, but I just don't remember.
Well, I had a couple
Here he is,
concussions.
on his own.
No, I'm going to go with something because I know the guys, you know what I mean? Because now you said some stuff. Now, maybe I'll put myself out there right now before we end. Maybe see what you can about maybe me with this, maybe with this podcast with us and what we can do and what we can achieve. Because I'm very proud of the stuff that we do, but also too, I do a lot of other crazy stuff, and I'm like, I don't know where my calling is going to be in life. Maybe
punchline here, Bubba.
There's no punchline.
So what's your question?
My question would be, what's my calling? Maybe. Let me ask you that.
Calling?
What's my calling?
To keep doing what you're doing and market the hell out of it. Don't give up on this. Don't give up on your dream. It's all about marketing, and you're going to be selling products too. I feel like you're going to be selling products through your show. And you're going to also do some kind of a business venture with other people who have products of their own that through your marketing and through your show that they'll be able to manifest, and that it's going to be like a win-win situation. So I have a feeling that you're going to end up creating your own format in regards to people being able to buy stuff online through your show. And it's not just from you, but it's from your other guests who have things to sell or whatnot, whereas you get like a piece of the pie, or it's something that you really believe in within your show that's going to grow. And I mean, so long as you keep on marketing yourself pretty well, then yeah, you'll just keep doing what you're doing. Just market the hell out of yourself.
Okay, thank you. That's all I
Yes.
got.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna, we're gonna get to a few questions, like a rapid fire. I call it the fun zone, where we get to know you, like, with fun questions and stuff like that. But is there anything that you could, Bubba, mentioned, his question, I guess. But is anything for Cable or I that that's coming through to you?
So, Kay, right now, I feel like with situations of what you got going on in your life with the people and stuff, less is more. Less is more for you. You don't want to share too much of all what you got going on with the people closest to you about certain situations you're trying to fix or trying to get out of or trying to make better or whatnot. React more in your actions than your words. Let your actions speak for you, not so much as your words. Because I feel like your words could get you in trouble, or people are going to misconstrue what you're trying to say or accomplish. And so, what I would say is try to do great things humbly without boasting about it, but just do and be the good person that you are, and just do things from your heart and just do things. You're going to win people over that way. And when you feel like something needs to be fixed or something needs to be done, again, don't ask, just do it. That's the best message I could give to you for now.
Makes sense. Yeah, that definitely does.
So don't let your words or your mouth get you in trouble.
Ooh, I thought
Well,
you were going to say that about me. See, he did it
yeah.
to you, Cable.
Hey, you kiss your
No,
mother
that
with
applies
mouth?
to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
right.
that's what I'm getting.
And what about Gary?
You guys, here I am with the show. I have a feeling you'll be able to do your podcast at different locations, and there's going to be a big promotion. I see you not just doing it like as you're doing it now, but where the three of you are going to be at different locations, or maybe one or two of you will be at different locations on the podcast, but you'll be at somebody's grand opening, or you're going to be at different stores or different cool places. Um, and I could just see you like setting up shop, and it could be like at like a car place or a Harley Davidson place where you're doing your show. It's just different variety of places. I see you being able to go to different places to do your show. Is what you're capable of doing, is what I'm saying.
I'll take that.
And
Yeah,
you're
that
going to
sounds
have a really
great.
good time too. It's going to be really good too. And I also see you doing it in a park. You're going to be in the park in the spring or summertime doing your show out of a park.
Okay.
Well, I like that. Yeah,
that's cool. Take that.
So, something to look forward to.
Well, we get PNC
Yeah.
Park in Pittsburgh. We're good, Artie. We'll call you back
Yeah,
up. We're like, hey, we're at
You can
PNC.
invite me over and say, hey, Art, you predicted this that we were going to
Yeah.
do this.
Hey, just real quick here, Artie. I there was like almost, I feel like there was an underlining theme, and a lot of things that you said was, we talked about relationships and stuff like that. Is that normally what you talk about, or is that the direction that you carried us for a reason?
No, I carried, I don't always talk about relationships at every place I go. I'm a psychic and a medium.
Right.
So I talk about God, spirituality, relationships, a whole bunch of different stuff. It just depends on where the energy takes me, I joked around a lot today, and I don't always as joking. I mean, I joke around, but it was just, I know, like I said, I don't prep anything. Everything's in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. But I just want everyone to know before I have to go. I want everyone to know I do private individual readings, and I'm based out of New Jersey, out of Central Jersey, and I'm just as accurate over the phone as I am in person or FaceTime, and it's a lot of fun. And I have Artie parties where I travel to your home. And my attitude is, if you're buying, I'm flying. So I don't care where you are.
That's awesome.
I travel all over the place to do parties for people, and I do events and life coaching on all aspects. I'm a very good medical intuitive. I could tell people, even without the CAT scan, I tell people, listen, I'm no doctor, but this is what I see going on. Boom, 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 boom. And the angels will tell me. And I got a lot of testimonies. If you go to my website, artiehoffman.com, if you go to my website, you can pick up my books, and it has all information about my readings and stuff, where you can call me up to book a reading or a party, 732-778-7173, or just go to artiehoffman.com or email.
We're going to put that on the marquee when we do this, Artie, so people can get a hold of it.
That's good.
Yeah. We were going to ask for plugs, but you did that. But hey, do you have time for some real quick fun questions before we hop off?
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Okay. So just, fun questions to help people get to know you. Just, so the first one is, name one thing that you always have stocked in your refrigerator.
One thing I always have stocked in my refrigerator. See, my diet's just recently changed, but it always was Diet Coke before.
Okay.
Diet Coke. I cut back on Diet Coke, but I love Diet Coke. That and water.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
If it's a food, if you're talking food, you're talking
Anything.
International hot dogs.
Nice.
There you go.
What kind of hobbies? What kind of hobbies do you have?
I love sports. I love all sports, or mostly all sports, I should say.
What's your best sport?
My best sport growing up, believe it or not, was bowling. I was a very good bowler back in the day. I love playing basketball. My favorite sport to watch on TV is football.
Okay.
And who's your team?
Miami Dolphins.
Really?
Okay.
Nice.
Even though
I gotta ask for these two. Can you read what's in the Steelers cards?
I suck when it comes to sport picks, although I have called up some pretty wild shots.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you an interesting story. You might remember this going back a few years ago. I'm doing a reading for this one guy, and he sat down in front of me, and I said, "Who's Saul and who's Mary?" She goes, "That's my father and mother." He goes, "How did you know that?" Because I said, "Is it like a Sal or a Mary?" He goes, "No, it's Saul and Mary." I said, "Wow." I said, your father said you can't beat the system. I don't know what I was talking about. He goes, "I know exactly what you're talking about." He goes, "Every day, him and I used to pick the winners of the racetracks. We would look in the newspapers and we would try to pick the winners out." And he said, "You can't beat the system." After that, he said, "Bet with the Eagles because they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl." And he goes, "And if they don't win the Super Bowl, they'll beat the spread." And so that year, when I told him years back, the Eagles won their first 8 games in a row. They made it to the playoffs. They made it to the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl, but they covered the spread.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the recent one. Yeah.
Okay,
I know how that story ends.
Yeah. Well, would you rather watch TV or read a book?
TV.
TV. Okay.
What's your favorite show?
But I do love 2.5 Men.
Nice.
Seinfeld and 2.5 Men.
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
Seinfeld.
What is one skill that you feel that everybody should have in their life?
Communication skills.
Okay. Good answer. And if you had to pick one actor to play you in a movie, who would it be?
It would be a fight. Two people would be fighting to play me. It would either be Adam Sandler or Ben Stiller.
That's great.
Yeah,
Nice.
those are good.
So just two more questions before we get off. Do you ever wish that you didn't have psychic ability?
No.
Do you ever feel that it hinders you? No? Okay.
No. Never felt like that. Interesting
and
question.
Artie, what do you want to be known for in life? In life in general, like what do you want people to remember you for?
Two things. That I made a difference in people's lives for the better, and that and that I made them laugh.
That's awesome. Great answers. Great answers. But
I
Artie,
just said to one of my friends yesterday, on my tombstone, it's going to say he was one funny guy.
That's awesome.
You made us laugh here tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all, Artie. And to be honest with you, like, this is an avenue I never, first off, I never thought I'd be interviewing you. And I don't know if I would ever make that jump to do it because I'm one of those people that, like, I don't want to know sometimes. Like, it's easier not to know because it's a scary feeling, right? Like, you don't go to the doctor because you're worried something's, you never know what they might find, right? But this has been a great experience, and we can't thank you enough.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's
Awesome,
my pleasure.
Artie. Thank you so much, Artie.
Yeah, you guys
thank you.
Fun.
We didn't know what to expect, but this was great, and we really appreciate it. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much.
You got it. You guys are the best.
Thanks,
Alrighty.
Artie. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, man.
Thank
You
you.
got it.
All right.